So pretty much every day of the last 40 years of my life started with something like this. Scales in groups of 5. Scales in thirds and fourths. And then various other versions, including one scale grouping that takes me through all keys without stopping. This has been a part of my life, as I've mentioned, for 40 years. And the thing that's kind of neat about this is obviously it improves you on the instrument, but it has a direct bearing on what you do in music theory. The knowledge of these scales and how they work is fundamental to everything we do in music. It's the knowledge of the key signature, the knowledge of the numbers of sharps or flats that go with a given key, perhaps the intervals that go between each note in each key is fundamentally served as you practice this, but it has a direct bearing on how you work in music theory. And the two will always kind of seamlessly work together as you go through the course of your study. And ultimately you'll find yourself all the better served as you get into questions of functional harmony and beyond. And you'll find that that knowledge ultimately impacts how you work as a musician throughout the rest of your career. So this may seem like it's a little dry and a little boring in your practice, both in the theory classroom and in the practice room. But really these two, over time, will seamlessly begin to interact and finally make you a better musician for it. I'll use an example. The Bach C major sonata begins in C major and is just incredibly scalar, goes to F major, and then winds up in G major in this little excerpt I'm about to play you. And so on. And so it's those scales that I was talking about at the beginning of this snippet, that directly serve that, and it's my understanding now, as I work with them, that I understand how Bach is arranging things vertically, and how some keys are more important than others within that, and how some certain notes are more important, and all this works together towards the end. And finally, I'll close with a brief story. When I was about 20 years old, I was playing for James Galway. And Galway stopped me mid-phrase, and he said, "Lad, you haven't paid the price." And knowing what was going to come next couldn't be good, I kind of thought, okay, God, what's going to happen now? And he said, well, when I was about your age, I quit everything and I practiced scales for 6 hours a day for 4 straight years, and I didn't even take time off for my birthday or for Christmas. And I thought, well, I'm not going to pay that price, and that explains why he's Galway and I'm who I am. But I did pay a price in terms of practicing probably 2 hours of these things a day. And I found out over the course of my career that it has really helped in everything I do, both in the classroom, in the studio, and then as a musician and beyond.